On today's episode of the Fizz, Channy Football and I do it without Ice Cold Brew Lou, who is up north hunting, aka smoking cigs inside and eating KFC. But today we do have a great show for you. The Detroit Lions have defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa this Sunday to take over first place. Yes, first place in the entire NFL. After we discuss that, we talk about the Detroit Red Wings and their electric home opener, and then we preview Rivalry Week, which pits Michigan against Michigan State, and then of course we close with a little over/under. But before we get into all that, I have to tell you about our main sponsor, which is Vosa. Vosa is a Michigan-made, ready-to-drink vodka beverage. Right now, they have two styles of the beverage. They have a Highline drink, which has some natural flavors, some carbonation, and has a little bit of a sweeter taste with a higher alcohol volume. 7% alcohol by volume for that drink. It comes in a bunch of flavors: cherry, pineapple, lemon. They are all delicious, and they are great for easy sipping. But if you aren't a fan of carbonation, you can also try the Vosa vodka water. Those are personally my favorite, with the lemon being the best one. Those have no carbonation, all natural flavors, and they are made with 6 times distilled vodka. They're Michigan made. They support the podcast. So if you guys like vodka, ready to drink beverages right out of the can, give them a shot. You can find them at your local grocery store in the Made in Michigan section. Vosa. Enjoy the finer things. But now, let's get into the Fizz. Hello and welcome to episode 123 of the Fizz. I'm here, 8:30 at night, post-Lions game, recording with Channy Football. Big Lou's out of town right now, hunting something, I don't know. Not focused on the task at hand like we are, but what is up, Channy Football? How we doing?
Not too much. It's Victory Sunday, Frank. It feels great. Yeah, Lou's doing, I don't know if you saw a Snapchat yesterday, but he's smoking cigs inside, picking up KFC through the drive-thru. I think he's attempting to hunt, but he's not hunting big game burgers like Frankie Fast Hands is.
No, he's just hunting rat behavior, and that's fine. It's rat season for him, but that's fine. We'll check into work. We'll talk about the game today while Pizzo's, chopping minutes off his life. That's just fine. Our Detroit Lions are now 5-1 after defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a convincing 20-6 at Raymond James Stadium today. Fucking absolute gritty business win. They don't score a touchdown. We score 2 of them, plus a couple of field goals. What a day. Just a business trip. Took care of it. They're a division leading team, but so are we, and we're in a different echelon than them.
We sure are, and it was just a different way of doing it. We've been dominating here these last 3 weeks, taking over games in the second half, grounding and pounding teams led by our offensive line in Montgomery. But today, with Montgomery getting injured, only 40 rush yards. So what do? We throw the ball 44 times with Jared Goff. He completes 30 of those for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we rely on our Pro Bowler, probably our best offensive player, Amon-Ra St. Brown, for just another huge game. Huge receptions over the middle, on the outside, long, short, in between. Just all around a great victory. And another one. We're stacking them together by the Lions here. 5-1. Seems like we were just 1-1 yesterday.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, just watching that game, the biggest key for me was without a doubt third down. On both sides of the ball, I thought we just absolutely dominated third down. Josh Reynolds is he is the serpent of death. He catches all first downs, all touchdowns. Today, they actually said he caught his first pass that wasn't a first down or a touchdown today, which is an astronomical fucking stat for a guy who's in the lineup every day catching footballs. He and Jared Goff have just this brainwave connection on third down that they seem to always find each other.
Yeah, he played well today. Again, Goff played well today. And another thing is They just didn't make those mistakes. I know you had mentioned it on Wednesday's podcast, was you felt like Baker was just going to make those mistakes, and that was going to be the difference in the game, and that was the difference. He threw the pick early. That was off a batted ball. He didn't make the big throws on third down like you alluded to. We made the plays. They made the mistakes, and that's what led us to our 5th victory and 4th straight this season.
Yeah, and I was actually, thinking about it too. I did have the thought, if Baker could hit a deep ball, like we might have been in a lot more trouble. I mean, we would have been, and maybe not in trouble, but it would have been a lot tighter of a game. But I also kind of wonder if that was part of the game plan, was like make Baker throw a deep ball to Palmer. Like let's make him beat us that way, as opposed to the dink and dunk and all that over the middle and stuff like that. I mean, Mike Williams dropped balls today too, so don't want to put it all on Baker by any stretch, but definitely he was not him today. He did not have it in him to beat the Detroit Lions today in the creamsicles at home.
No, and I thought they'd come out a little more electric with the creamsicles on. Usually they don't come out as flat as they did, but with us, Montgomery getting out of the game, and within 5 plays, Reynolds makes the snapshot play of the year. Basically just what this team is all about. Next man up, effort, playing through the whistle, comes up, makes a key block to spring Amon-Ra on the first touchdown. I don't know if we could have wrote it better for this team that their 3rd-string running back comes in and makes a hustle play to get them their first touchdown. And that, in my opinion, set the tone for the whole game.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was the block of the year. Non-ball play of the year, however you want to describe it. That was so fucking cool, especially knowing Monty was probably going to be out for the game. Next guy comes in, blows up his fucking spot, and then Amon-Ra scores the touchdown. I mean, to me, that does define like exactly what this team is. We've mentioned injuries and the next man coming up. CJ Gardner-Johnson gets hurt. Brian Branch gets hurt. Tracy Walker comes in, makes a huge hit today, really setting the tone. They originally threw the flag on it because it was just so good of a hit.
Yep.
But he just fucking fed that guy his lunch. It's actually crazy with what we've been able to do with backup players and injuries and moving people around. It's been pretty fucking incredible. It's hard to believe, really.
And that's a shout out to Brad Holmes. He's gotten these guys, Amon-Ra, 4th-round pick. I mean, he's gotten impact players through the draft. He obviously traded Stafford for a boatload of picks, but he's just done such a good job of not only getting guys to come in and start, but getting guys that can fill in, step up, and really play a multitude of positions, whether it be on special teams, running back, whether they're asked to be a safety or a cornerback. I mean, Brad Holmes has done a great job with this personnel, and then the coaching staff has taken these players. And it seems like when someone comes out, someone jumps in, and you don't skip a beat. They know what's going on. They know the checks. They know what plays are running, the protections. That's a testament to the coaching staff. So from top, being the GM and Brad Holmes, all the way to the players who are the 53rd through 55th men sometimes on these rosters, everyone has really come to form what seems to be one of the deepest rosters in the NFC, if not the whole NFL.
Yeah, and there are no more unbeatens in the NFL after today. We'll get into the rest of the NFL in a little bit, but a few more notes with the Lions today. Like Jared Goff is just more than we could have ever bargained for. I mean, like, what'd you say,
Matt Ryan?
Yeah, right. What were you saying he was today? Like, we threw the ball 44 times. He was like 362 yards. I mean, just absolutely crazy stuff. No interceptions, no turnovers. He is just playing the best football of his career right now. I think that's safe to say.
By far. And, you look at his stats and you say, well, he completes a lot of balls. He completes a lot of balls underneath. A surprising stat that I saw going into this week that I believe stayed the same after this week is the Lions have the most 20-plus yard completions. They might be second behind the Dolphins now, but they're throwing the ball down the field. This isn't like an Alex Smith 10 to 15 yard West Coast offense dink and dunk. They're still taking shots down the field, Goff is putting it on people. His receivers are making plays. And speaking of receivers making plays, it was great seeing J-Mo, his hot Cheetos, his queso, get into the end zone and make a big play and get that monkey off his back after having a less than stellar first week back.
Yeah, and it happened, that was another kind of sequence that really shows what this team is. Like, Jared Goff kind of got his arm hit as he threw to J-Mo. Ball fell a little short, but it still hit his hands, and Jameson actually should have caught it. He looked pretty unathletic with it. And I mean, as soon as that one fell right in front of him, you could just, all the texts were flying in, all the tweets were going out. Everyone was dogging him. Everyone was ripping him. And I mean, to be honest, I threw my hands up just like, buddy, like, how do you just look so unathletic on that play? Like, go catch it. Next play, Goff puts one right in Laporta's hands for like 8 or 9 yards. He puts it on the turf, just drops it, flat out drop. And then it's a 3rd and long, and we take a deep ball, a very contested deep ball to J-Mo, and he hauls it in for a touchdown. And it's just like, that's exactly what this team is. It's like, we joke about Dan Campbell's fucking intro press conference where we get knocked down 3 times and, you bite them on the way down and shit like that. But like, that is like exactly what it is right now. It's like, they just get up and they play the next play. And it's weird to have so much confidence on 3rd down on both sides of the ball. I couldn't get over how addicting it was to convert 3rd downs on offense.
And that J-Mo bomb was a 3rd and 10. And what I like seeing was St. Brown he might have been more excited than J-Mo that he caught the ball. When he got to the sidelines, Bridgewater came over to meet him by the end zone. Like, it seems like his teammates want him to succeed, which is telling me that behind closed doors, he's either a good guy, he's working hard, he's a team player, he's bought in. If he was one of those guys that was distancing himself or maybe a diva, I'd be a little nervous about him. But when he caught that ball, it was a team celebration. It was like each of them had scored a touchdown. So I thought that was great. And one play that doesn't make the box score that I want to mention, I don't know if you remember it, but the end of the 3rd quarter, what did we do? We did a hard count with a second left, and we got the defensive line to jump off sides, which got us an extra 5 yards. That's just what good teams do, is little things like that where you draw people off sides in instances where a lot of teams would just pack it up and walk to the sideline. They're fighting for every play, every yard, and starting the 4th quarter, you're in a 1st and 5 instead of a 1st and 10 at that point.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. And then to totally like counterpoint that, the end of the half, the Bucs just kind of like let the clock run out and let everything, like, you see, they just kind of like, they were like, why aren't they calling a timeout? Like, oh, I'm surprised they're not going to take a shot here or anything like that. Like, knowing we were getting the ball back and everything.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that was like incredible. And I think the Lions defense started, the half with, we had like 5 consecutive punts from them or something like that. It was like, we absolutely put them to sleep in the second half. And it was incredible. And I just wanted to go back to the whole team being with Jameson Williams. Like, CJ Gardner-Johnson like tweeted about it too, like as soon as he scored.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's just, Marv even caught a football today, which doesn't really ever happen. It was nice to see. It was just crazy. It's just wild when these guys go down and how they've been able to adjust. And I mean, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel real right now.
This is what it feels like to have a good franchise. Not even we've had good teams in the last 20 to 30 years. This is what it feels like to have a well-run and well-oiled franchise, from ownership down to the last person. I mean, and can we not forget Lions pride traveling to Tampa Bay, made another road game feel like a home game. You could hear them on the 3rd down getting loud in Raymond James Stadium. You saw after the game, there were rows upon rows, sections upon sections of Lions fans coming down to the field. It was always the Niners, the Steelers, the Cowboys traveled well. I'd be surprised if we're not one of the 5 best well-traveled teams in the league right now, because every road game, the Lions faithful has shown up, and I expect much more of the same with somewhat of a short trip to Baltimore next week.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was Lions chants going on. You could see all the blue in the stadium, and it stuck out so much against any of the red or the orange they had in there. And I mean, I was there at Lambeau last year in a meaningless, quote unquote, meaningless game, and it was fucking one Pride Nation just everywhere. It's crazy. I mean, it's the Kool-Aid's real. It's flowing. They're a real team. This isn't gimmicky. This isn't fluky wins. This isn't miracle stuff. I mean, this is just like solidly putting teams away. I mean, think of the games we've won. Like, so, Chiefs, very close game. We got some breaks with some of their injuries being out. It was a little bit a tighter one. Seahawks game, throw it in the trash. That was the one we lost control of. All the other ones, Green Bay, put them to sleep. Atlanta, put them to sleep. Carolina, put them to sleep. Same thing today with Tampa. And those teams aren't good teams, but like we haven't made those close games at all.
Right.
So which is so reassuring to me. It's just like that's what you do to those teams, and it's just awesome to see. Like we haven't even had a close call with bad teams.
We haven't. And what do great teams do? They control the trenches. And again, we controlled the trenches, gave up less than 50 yards rushing again. Like that's what travels. That's why we're beating all these teams in a row the way we're beating them, is because our offensive line has been dominant, even with injuries this year. And our defensive line is deep enough to rotate. Aleem McNeil laying in the weeds as one of the best interior defensive linemen this year. And you don't really see it or hear it much in the game. You maybe see a deflected pass or he collapses the pocket, but he's not getting you the sacks, the forced fumbles, the fumble recoveries, but he's doing everything you ask of him, an interior defensive lineman. And that is why I think we're dominating these teams. Offensive line, defensive line, just absolutely controlling the line of scrimmage.
I know. It's incredible. And it's wild what all of that does for everything around. People have confidence to go make more plays. Like Goff is running again. Like he used to run a little bit with the Rams. I mean, I'm not saying he's a runner or a dual threat. I mean, I like to joke that he's a dual threat, but like he is moving, I feel like, so much better than he did when he got here in his first 2 years. Like it feels like he can actually get out of the pocket and like pick up 2 to 3 yards if he needed to, when I felt like before he was true statue, couldn't move at all.
Yep. And he finally feels like it's his team.
Yeah.
For a couple of years, we were like, is this going to be our guy? Is he a transition? Do we re-sign him? Do we not? Like, you could kind of see, like, it is his team now. He's getting interviewed. He's leading the charge in the locker room. He's taking control of the offense. He's taking control of the offense at the line of scrimmage. It's Jared Goff's team, and as many good players as we have, Hutchinson, ARSB, Penei Sewell, I think you can say everyone looks towards him. And as Jared Goff goes, that is how the team goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just smart and methodical, and that's kind of what this team is. I mean, sure, the JMO bomb was like, kind of a home run play, but that's not really how we've been beating teams. And I mean, now that we're toting everybody right now, let's not forget Ben Johnson either. I mean, what he is calling right now is just masterful, and the players are getting it done. But I mean, you got it's incredible to watch the plays he's dialing up and how he decides to choose them and when he does them and how he finds these soft spots, and the players and personnel he decides to use when he does it is just, it's a fucking treat to watch. And you better soak it all in now, because that guy's going to get scooped up for a head coaching job next year, almost no doubt.
Exactly. Soak it up. We've got him through the duration of the year. That's all that matters. Go get it this year. And if anyone has any questions, because I know a lot of things have been flying around recently about, hey, should we trade for this guy, but we have to give up this? Should we trade for that? Well, we're trying to build for the future. Focus on what you have now. You have a 5-1 football team that is dominating teams week in and week out. And stop selling yourself short. This ain't the same old Lions. This isn't that team. This is a new team in a new era, and you got to have the confidence to go and get it, because NFL stands for not for long, and windows can close very quickly. Enjoy it. Go all in. We've never been here. If the opportunity presents itself, get better, because Detroit this team is a winner, and this team has a chance to compete for a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since this week there are no more unbeaten teams. And boy, oh boy, did the two kings of the NFC look like not that little. They looked like little boys today. I was gonna say, like, I don't know what I was gonna compare it to. They look jesters. We'll go with jesters.
Yeah, there we go.
And yeah, I mean, my God, I lost. Oh my God, the bets I lost on the Niners and Eagles today. So it's a tough position for me because that was, my two big bets today. But as far as the power rankings go in the NFC, I mean, it is now a true question of who is really number one, because Brock Purdy looked very Brock Purdy of what his name actually was when he was drafted today. They looked just feeble versus the Browns once CMC and Debo went down. And the Eagles finally, they haven't looked good or crisp all year, and it finally caught up with them this year as they fall to the Jets late. I mean, both games were fucking ridiculous finishes. San Fran should have won on their last second field goal. The Eagles should have won 20 times over, and they both blew it late. But they didn't look good. They didn't look dominating. Like, San Fran finally showed a chink in that armor, and it actually looked pretty damaging.
Yeah. And we'll start a GoFundMe for you. Just take those two teams every week. If we can get these results, we'll get the Fizz Army to start reimbursing you for taking those teams. But I thought it was going to be a tough game. I know we talked about it and highlighted it last week. I did think it was going to be a tough game for the Niners. Same spot as week 1 last year against the Bears. I don't know how they can travel in the weather. And again, it happens in the NFL. We said it going into this week, like, the Lions are going to have off games. Like, that's what happens when you play a 17-game schedule, when you have to deal with injuries. Obviously, Debo leaves the game. McCaffrey leaves the game for the Niners. You're not expecting that. So that's going to happen. You're going to have off games. And it comes to the point where I can't even believe I'm saying this, but why not? Why can't we beat the Niners? Why can't we get them down 7 to 10 points and make Brock Purdy beat us? Because that is the formula for beating the Niners, is getting them down and making him being Brock Purdy, try to come back and win the game. But they're one injury away, too, from having a total shift in what their offense looks like. So at the end of the day, I'm asking myself, why not? Because I see the Niners today, and if they play like that against the Lions will beat a team like that. And then you hit on it with the Eagles. They have not looked crisp all year. Their best game was against the Bucs. Outside of that, they have not looked well. Jalen Hurts threw up some very errant passes today, almost 50-50 balls, overthrows, underthrows, just not very good looking from Jalen Hurts, and a late interception cost them. But I'm just asking myself, why not? We are every bit as good as these teams. Yes, they've been there more than we have, but talent-wise, execution-wise, and results-wise this year, why not the Lions? They're definitely top 3 in the NFC, and now having a 3-way tie atop the NFC with those other two teams, you can make an argument they're the best team in the NFC, and I don't want to say team to beat yet, but they can be the team to beat by the end of the regular season.
I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to say it at all. And you look at the Eagles' schedule, they've beaten the Patriots, the Vikings, the Bucs, the Commanders, the Rams, and they lost to the Jets. I mean, that's arguably the easiest schedule in the NFL. That's not even an exaggeration. The Patriots are a bottom 5 team. Vikings are a bottom probably 5, definitely 10 team. The Bucs, they're not great. The Commanders, not a good team. Rams, not a good team. Like, wild and then they lost to the Jets. That is crazy to me that has been their schedule. So, you say, like, why not us? Like, I don't even know if San Fran or the Eagles have played a team like us. Dallas was the biggest one on the 49ers schedule, and they're definitely not an elite team right now. But I mean, the 49ers, Steelers, bad team. Rams, bad team. Giants, awful team. Cardinals, bad team. Cowboys, again, like we said, and then they lost to the Browns. So at least we've played the Kansas City Chiefs in our lineup of games played. Maybe toss Green Bay in there. I don't know. It's not like our schedule's been a world beater of one, but it's definitely been tougher than these two teams. And the NFC is right there for the taking.
Yep.
There's no reason to be scared of anybody.
And you're going to find out a lot about the Niners because they have road games at Jacksonville, Seattle, and Philadelphia in the next 6 weeks. So, you start looking at the Lions schedule. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But if they beat Baltimore next week and they're 6-1 going into Monday night before their bye week, I mean, we've said it for a couple of weeks in a row now. You just take care of business this next week, which is what they'll have to do again. You could be 7-1 at the bye with a very easy back half, which includes 5 games against your NFC North foes. So it's a very favorable schedule for the Lions. We seem to have an easier second half than first half, and the Niners seem to be coming up to a tougher stretch. It's up for the taking, and I can't believe I'm saying it. I can't believe it's this quick. But I looked this up today. I just need to get this out there. From what I could find, their most wins in a regular season was 91 at 12. To me, like, tying it is the floor right now. 12-5 is the floor, the absolute floor for the Lions right now.
I mean, it is nuts to hear, but it's not nuts when you look at the games they have left. We haven't even played the Vikings, and we still play them twice. We haven't played the Bears. We still have them twice. Like Green Bay, they get to come into Ford Field on Thanksgiving. Good fucking luck. Like
Denver.
Yeah. And I mean, just
Las
mark
Vegas.
Yeah, right. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy. And then, I mean, Dallas on the road is like a tough one. I mean, nothing is too crazy to say right now. I mean, it's really not. Like, truly, if you look at the rest of the schedule, the Lions would be favored in every single game they're going to play in, except maybe on the road at Dallas. And I bet you it's a 1-point fucking spread. Like, if you were to make that line right now.
Yep.
The Lions would be favored in every single game moving forward.
I would think so too. I don't see how they would be. I think they would have to be. I mean, you can't say Dallas is a better team than the Lions right now. Maybe give them a little edge because they're at home field. They play on a neutral site. The Lions pound the Cowboys. They play them in Ford Field. They pound them. And I still think they beat them in Dallas if you line them up today with how they've been playing. Lions are lucky, though, they don't have to play the Bengals. Because I told you guys, they weren't going to die. They weren't going to roll over. They weren't going to make me look bad. They were going to make a Super Bowl run, and that was an entertaining game today. I knew the Seahawks would be tired. I didn't think they'd be 13 points tired, but a gritty win for the Bengals, and I think that's a team that you look at on the other side of the bracket and you say, we've already beat KC. If we get there, who are we playing? They're one of the 2 or 3 teams that could be in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on them at all. I know that's your boys this year, but the way they opened this year and the way even their wins to me have just not been super convincing or feel good. I mean, today, good win at home without a doubt. But they still haven't shown anything to me that they're going to be even in the AFC Championship game. That's just where I'm at with them right now. I'm looking more at Kansas City and the Bills right now is the 2 I'm looking at. And to me, it's still Kansas City. It's just, they don't lose games. Like, they just find ways to win games, even more so than the Bills do. Like, I think the Bills are the better team, but there's a guy number 15 in red who just refuses to lose.
Who just can't beat us, even if he's playing at home. So that's good. I'm okay with facing them. I kind of feel like bad because I know you and I both think this way. We're like, all right, Bengals, Bills, Chiefs, these are the top 3 teams that we could face. Miami, under the radar somewhat. I mean, I put it in the notes here. This could be the best offensive team since the Welker, Brady, Moss Patriots and or the greatest show on turf. I feel like every time they flick over to them on Red Zone, Tyreek's doing a 20-yard in, Tyreek or Waddle, and then they're running for another 25 yards after the catch.
Yeah, I mean, Tua's been lights out this year too, and I don't mean with like concussions. Like he's actually playing really well. And I mean, they were down 14-0 and it was erased in no time. Like it was refresh the phone 2 times and it's 28-14.
Yep.
I mean, they score like almost, like college teams. It's just like, oh, Bama's down 7, that won't last long.
Right.
It's just like they just score. I'm looking at the schedule right now, actually, of your Bengals, and they go 49ers Bills next 2 games. So we're gonna find out real quick.
Strap up, baby, and I think they get the Niners after a bye week.
Oh yeah, it is 10-29. Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
Strap up, baby.
They sure do. Keep holding on hope for your boys. And don't forget, I had Miami winning that division, so I don't know why I left them out of like who would be in the Super Bowl, but I definitely was pulling for Miami this year.
Yeah, I am starting to come around to Miami. Mike McDaniel just still kind of bothers me. He's wearing like off-white Air Forces while he's coaching.
I think that's his job, though. I think he'll always bother you. I think he'll always bother everyone. I think that's his like shtick, is to bother everyone.
I'm like, come on. Like, can you wear the Nike free runs or whatever they give you? That's, I don't know. He just rolls up he rolls up his joggers to his mid shin. He wears off-white Air Forces. He's got like Versace glasses on. It's like, can you just be a coach, man? I mean, I guess he's being him, but he just bothers me. I just cannot buy into the Dolphins just yet.
Yeah, and I think it's because of him. Like, I truly believe, like, if anybody else was standing over there, traditional-ass coach, you'd be like, Dolphins are legit. But no one likes that like, swaggy, cocky, like, nerdy guy is, like, winning games.
I mean, I didn't put this on the show sheet, but I do want to mention it. Total opposite of swaggy, cocky coach Bill Belichick. Loses another one today, but I want to thank him for continuing to play through the whistle, for trying to throw the ball with that gutless quarterback, Mac Jones, with under 2 minutes left, Raiders -3. I was crying, drinking my own tears, and then Mac Jones stepped back to pass, and I saw Crosby coming around the end, and I couldn't believe that I backdoored the Raiders at -3 there.
With a safety.
With the safety, because I don't know if you saw earlier what happened, but Crosby roughed the passer on a 3rd down that would have forced him to kick a field goal. So they scored a touchdown because of Crosby, and then just minutes later, he saves the day with a safety with just under 2 minutes left.
That's nice. That must have felt good to win a bet today. I did not have the pleasure of that. Well, I did take the Lions, which was great. So I did win a bet. But no, my 2 picks went horribly awry today in just horrible fashion. But yeah, good call on the Raiders. I like that one. And I took your boy Jacoby Myers anytime TD revenge game tug. So good call.
There we go, baby. There we go. I don't want to get too big-headed though. 6-6 on the season. Just losing our listeners' juice so far, but stick with us. We're getting better. We're getting our feet under us. We're doing better. And if I saw correctly, Hank's got the G-Men plus 15.5, and it looks like they're winning nearing the end of the first here.
Yeah, near 2 minutes left in the first. Giants are up 3 on that monster spread. So Hank's got to get back on it. He got cocky with the 3-0. He stopped sitting at the desk. So we told him he had to sit at the desk and start making picks again. He basically had to get back to work.
Yeah, who does he think he is, man? Lou?
Yeah, right. Jesus.
He just gets to take work off all the time?
I know. I think we got to mention just this Vikings-Bears game just because it's a division game, and it's like, who cared this was even happening? And God, they are both really bad. The Vikings won our division last year. Like, how are they so awful? How are they so bad?
They're really bad. I there's no even answer for it. Like, I can't put my finger on it. They're just not good anywhere. They're good at receiver, and that's it. Like, I just don't see another position. I'm like, the Vikings are strong in linebacker, or they have a great D-line or a good secondary. Like, they're just good and deep at receiver, and other than that, they don't have much. They wanted to give that game away. Homeboy who Tyson Bagent? Tyson Bagnet? I'm a pretty avid football fan, And when they said his name and the school that he was from, I didn't know either. I had no clue of either of those. He came in with like a half sleeve, fumbled to the crib the first play. Just a disastrous start, but those teams are dead. Bears were dead with Fields. They're going to be miserable without Fields. And the Vikings, they're stuck in purgatory. They're like the 2011 Pistons. They're going to have the 8th to the 12th pick. They're just going to be just good enough, but not bad enough. They're never going to get a top-end quarterback unless they trade up in the draft. So they've got to decide. I saw that they want to keep Kirk Cousins. I don't know if that's a him not wanting to waive his trade clause or not, but nonetheless, they can't go the route they're going because 6 and 11 is not going to get them Caleb Williams or Drake May next year.
No, that's true. But I don't know. I mean, watching USC, I don't know if Caleb Williams, whatever. I don't even know if I want to get into it. I saw this really funny fake tweet from this account called NFC North News, and it's just like fake tweets. But it said breaking Vikings. This was like earlier this week. It said breaking Vikings practice ended early today after an outburst during a drill from head coach Kevin O'Connell. O'Connell brought his players outside in the cold rain and used a 100-pound scepter to hit the players in an attempt to cut down on in-game fumbles. As running back Alexander Madison was going through the drill, O'Connell yelled, "This is all your fault," as he swung the scepter, knocking Madison unconscious. After waiting 20 minutes to see if he was faking, practice was called early and Madison is now questionable for Sunday. And the picture is like him like waving like one of those drill scepter things. And it's just, I don't know, to me that cracked me up of just like him yelling at Madison saying this is all your fault. And then they waited 20 minutes to see if he was faking. And the amount of people, this has 5.8 million views on Twitter. And the amount of people who are just like, this is crazy. I can't believe he did this. Like they just all think it's real. They think it's all real, which cracks me up.
People, man.
They're like, well, he's fired. Yeah.
People, man.
The internet going to internet.
Internet's a crazy place, huh?
Yeah.
New
Detroit
news.
Lions. So is Detroit. Detroit's a crazy place. 13-3 record in their last 16 games. Best 16-game stretch since 1961, 1962.
Let's keep it going. We're just beginning. That's what we've got to think about. We're a third of the way through the regular season. We are just beginning.
Speaking of just beginning, I want to talk about the Red Wings beginning their season this week. Awesome start to the season, 1-1. They dropped game 1 to New Jersey. Like I said before, though, New Jersey is like a cup contender. That was a road game. That was a tough place to start. I thought the Wings had a good first period. They really took it to the Devils. In the second period, the Devils kind of found their footing and started to show that they're a little bit of a better team. Wings dropped that one 4-2, but let's focus on Saturday, where I'll call them a rival. Tampa Bay comes into Little Caesars Arena for the home opener. Wings win the game 6-4, outshooting Tampa 42-21. One of the most exciting games, not kidding, that Little Caesars Arena probably has ever seen. Dylan Larkin called it the loudest he's ever heard the stadium since he's been playing there. Alex DeBrincat scores. He's absolutely on fire. He was the player of the game. 3 new guys scored: Sprong, DeBrincat, and I want to say Comfer all scored for the Wings. Which is just, so Sprong, DeBrincat, Raymond, Comfort did score. DeBrincat scored again, and then Moritz Seider had an empty net goal to close the game. Detroit hockey is so fucking back right now. I told you we're a better team. We look like a better team, and Tampa Bay is that team we need to get over the hump on. They've won back-to-back Stanley Cups. It's where Yzerman came from. They've owned the Atlantic for a long time now. We see them all the time, and all they've done is fed us our lunch for the past 7 years. It's time to start beating Tampa, and doing that in front of a sold-out crowd on LCA on opening night was exactly what this team needed to start out the season.
Who dumped that Lightning player over the boards NHL hits style?
That was Lucas Raymond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Raymond's like a small guy, but the word on the street is he's beefed up this year. He's added 20 pounds of muscle, and it was cool to see him fucking throw someone in a bench because he doesn't really do that. So he did that, and he scored a goal last night or Saturday night, which is last night, I guess, which is fantastic.
And I thought you said preseason that was one of the guys you wanted to see get back on track. Had a really good rookie season. Didn't play as well last year. I know you wanted to see him get back on track, so that's good to see him. Obviously, DeBrincat, big offseason move. I think he has, 3 goals in his first 2 games. Absolutely on fire. He got the 1 star, right, at the home game?
Yep, he got the number 1 star. 2 goals and an assist. He has been as advertised so far to start the season. Him and Larkin on a 2-on-1. Larkin feeding DeBrincat and burying the goal. I mean, that's why we got the guy. And him paired next to Larkin, I mean, it's just like a Red Wings, like Michigan dream, for game 1. And I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but like, man, that was just an awesome home opener. And the Wings, with the presentation of the game, are doing more things that like we've been asking them to do for a while. So new Red Wings goal song, they went with Eminem. So it's Without Me. It's like the end where he's just like, na, 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 na. So they added that, which gets everyone pumped because it's fucking Eminem. It's Detroit. It's layup line stuff. And then after the game, they played Hey Hey Hockey Town, like the actual song from the 90s. That they discontinued. They stopped playing Hey Hey Hockey Town, but they brought that back, which is fantastic. And then the Joe Louis Arena goal horn. They got the new goal horn in there from Joe Louis Arena. Before they were using a recording. Now they have the actual compressed air goal horn. And it just makes everything better. I mean, this is all the nostalgia, old stuff of the Red Wings that they kind of got rid of when they went to LCA. And no one wanted them to get rid of it. So they brought it all back, and now we're winning. Like, now it seems like we have a decent roster, and that's all back. So it's just fucking good stuff. Like, that was like an awesome Red Wings game to watch.
That was nostalgic for me. I know you said it, or you posted it the other day about what they were doing to bring back some of the nostalgia from Joe Louis. I want to go a couple steps further. And this is Chandler's plan to implement the old Red Wings into this season. Step number 4. Reimplementation of Karen Newman as singing the national anthem. Step number 5, cigarettes allowed in the beer garden outside of LCA. No more, no cigs on the ground. Let's get gritty. Step number 6, let's go back to the white home jerseys. I know that was like a 90s thing, but I don't know. There's something about seeing the Wings in the white home jerseys. I know Red Wings traditionalists probably love the red one. But I'm just saying, bring back the nostalgia if you are. We need Karen back. We need heaters in the beer garden. And we need the pearl whites at home.
I love it, Channy. The only thing you forgot was to bring back Molson Triple X, which is motor oil. That's Motor City Motor Oil is what that is. And that's why that powered us to 4 Stanley Cups in our lifetime. And the other thing, of course, we need is the piss troughs. We're all peeing in individual stalls now with separators. That's not how you build camaraderie. That's not how you build a fan base. That's not how the boys get all close to each other in the bathrooms. We need the piss troughs. We need the piss troughs. Everyone knows it. I know it. Everyone needs them. We need piss troughs back at Little Caesars Arena. So people know I love those, and we'll just keep pushing until we get our way one day. The jersey thing, though, is interesting because the Wings used to wear whites at home and all NHL teams used to wear whites at home because if you went to a lot of games, that way you'd get to see all the different colors of the road teams that visited. Mm-hmm. Well, they switched it because they're like, well, the fans want to see their team in their favorite jerseys, which is usually the colored jerseys. It's whatever your opinion is on it. But I'm kind of with you. Like I would like to see, I think like the road jerseys of other teams in the building, like Toronto's Blues and Boston's Darks and all of that. But either way, I love both Wings jerseys. So it's either way to me. I don't have too firm of a stance on it, to be quite honest.
And maybe just for a couple games, they wear the black and red jerseys for a couple games, throw the pearl whites on for a games. Bring back the Fedorov white skates. Just white out for a couple games. Hey, hell, put the seat covers in LCA as white. That's been such a point of emphasis and arguing about Little Caesars Arena. Make the damn seat covers white and white out for a couple games a year.
I don't want to do seat covers today because that one does get me spicy. And right now we're happy with the wings, so I want to sit and be happy with the wings. So yeah, wings upcoming schedule this week. We are going to let's see what we got. I know we play
Columbus,
the Penguins,
right?
Yeah, we're at Columbus tomorrow, and then we got Pittsburgh on Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to that Wednesday game, so we have to talk about our Fizz scheduling. But yeah, but yeah, so Columbus and Pittsburgh probably the next time we'll be talking. But really hope they can keep fighting. Huso looked good. Yeah, I'm excited for the team. Sprong is a name you're going to want to remember. That guy's strong on the puck. He's got 2 garbage goals in 2 games, and I love a good junkyard dog. So if he can keep finding the puck in gritty ways, it's a good guy to have.
I saw that the Pittsburgh game's on TNT. I'm wondering if Sir Charles is going to be here for the pregame.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
All right. Well, Frank, we've talked about the Lions. We've talked about the Red Wings. But we've got to talk about what may be the biggest event this week. I know Spartan Nation is down this year, but it's time to get up. It's fucking rivalry week. I don't care if we're 0-8 and we haven't scored a damn point all year. You get up, you go down the street, and you play your fucking rival in Michigan this week, who has everything to play for, and we have nothing to lose, especially after blowing a 24-6 lead against arguably the worst program in the Big Ten. With that being said, though, it's fucking rivalry week. We're 6 days out. They're coming to Spartan Stadium at night. First game since the tunnel incident. What's your feelings?
Chandler, if I'm being completely honest, I just hope we don't embarrass ourselves too much. Like I am not even, it's Sunday night. That game feels so far away. I'm still thinking about that Rutgers loss where we just gave up 21 points in the snap of a finger. I haven't given this game one thought. I kind of forgot it was this upcoming week. I mean, this is just coming from my heart right now. The team, the program is embarrassing to me. Do I want them to beat Michigan? I want nothing more for them to beat Michigan. Will I watch the game? For sure I'll watch the game. As long as they're still in it, I'll be watching the game. But yeah, that's my true thoughts is I just hope we don't embarrass ourselves too much because I think the score will be an embarrassment. I think Michigan will beat the shit out of us. I just hope we don't do anything stupid. Like, I don't know, because when you have nothing to play for and you're not going to go to the school anymore and tempers get high and that rivalries, whatever, and they're going to be saying everything they're going to be saying, I just hope we don't do anything stupid. Dead serious.
Well, I hope we really get up because in all of sports, I watch every one of them. I will love all of our local teams. I don't love anything better than when the Michigan State Spartans beat the shit out of the Michigan Wolverines. And I know it's unlikely to happen, but Frank, for a second, I want you to go to a far, far away land with me, all right? Let's hone in here, okay? Since 2000, that's the last 23 meetings, Michigan is 12-11 against Michigan State. We're right there. We hang with them. They're not better than us. We're equal to them the last 23 years, okay? We have nothing to play for, thus, we should be exhausting our full playbook this week. We've got kids, as you mentioned, that probably aren't coming back, who need to show out. This is the most eyes that will be on a game the rest of the year, is this game. We've got no bowl game to prep for. This is the game we pull out all the trick plays. And on the other side, Michigan has 2, if not 4 to 5 games that are seemingly going to matter more for their season than this one. So we have nothing to lose. They have everything to lose. We always play them tough. We always seem to get up. And if you remember last year, that was a playoff team, Michigan was. That was a one-possession game at half. We played them tough for a majority of that game and then got disrespected at the end when they ran up the score and ended up beating us by several touchdowns. So it's a 24.5-point spread. That's an absolute sin, and I'm not going to stand for it. Spartan Nation, rise up. Football players, fans, if you're listening to this, don't expect less because of the records. This is fucking rivalry week. This is maize and blue versus green and white, and that's all that matters is you beating the team across from you. Stay in the game. The longer the underdog stays in the game, the more confidence they get. Michigan State is going to go out and play tough this weekend, and I'm not going to sit up here and ever say that Michigan's going to beat us. I'm not going to allow it. Let's go green and white. Let's shock the world, and let's make our season and turn this damn thing around brick by brick going into next year.
Incredible. Incredible, Channy. Just, that's awesome. So, we need more guys like you at MSU on the forefront, as opposed to guys like me who just say, like, I hope we don't embarrass ourselves too much, because that's where I'm at. And your speech is amazing. I think it's all the correct things and the right things to say. If I'm betting with my head, which I never would and I won't, I got Michigan covering that number, no problem. I got no faith going into this game. I hate to say it.
I just don't see it. I think MSU is going to play them tough. They always do. I'm hoping Coach D's on the sideline. I'm hoping Coach Izzo's on the sideline. It's a night game. I'm just hoping that, again, Michigan is going to take us for granted, and they're looking at the record and not the team and not the university that's on the other side. And I think for us, we're looking at the record and the university on the other side and saying, hey, this is a gigantic opportunity for what seems to be a season that's going nowhere. This is one of, if not the last thing that we had to play for. So I love where we're at. It's going to be tough, but what I will say is this. MSU has looked good through 3/4 of a game, 2 straight games on the road. These teams aren't great. Iowa's not great. Rutgers isn't great. That meltdown was absolutely embarrassing, and everyone on that sideline should be absolutely embarrassed blowing an 18-point lead to Rutgers. And with that being said, we've played 6 out of our last 8 quarters of good football. We just can't close.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We just can't close right now. But Frank, I'm fucking ready. We should be fucking ready. This is Michigan, man. This is fucking Michigan. Come on.
I'm not there, man.
Get up for it, man.
It's
Michigan.
You can keep saying that, and I'm not getting up right now. This team has given me zero reason to get up whatsoever this year. Zero. None. Not a single reason to get up, excited, or anything for this game. And I'm so mad at the program and the university right now that, like, I am having a hard time finding the fire that you have within you to get excited for this game right now. And that Rutgers game, I just, like, it was just like, okay, like, we are pathetic. So again, I respect your fire, your passion. I wish I was there and had that blind faith right now. I bet you as this week goes on, as we get a little closer, we do our midweek show, I'll be a little more fired up. Right now, I'm still wearing the wounds from Saturday and the rest of this season. And I don't have the fire right now. I don't have the fire to back up the Spartans right now. I'm way more on the Lions and the Wings.
All right. That's fair enough.
I apologize. I'm sorry. Hey.
It is what it is. What am I going to tell you? I got to tell you some good Spartan news. I don't have any good news for the football team. Basketball team signed Jason Richardson's kid today. That was great. He's a 4-star, top 50 player. That might get you excited. That might get you back in the Sparty spirit.
Hey, Spartan hoops all day, baby. I'm cool with that. The football program is in the toilet, and we're staring down the barrel of fucking a steamrolling in prime time in our own barn from our arch rival.
More likely or less likely that we get Urban Meyer if we lose this week?
Oh, man. More or less likely. That is so – I don't even know. Let's see. Probably more likely because if we get the doors beat off of us like 56-7 or something like that, then his price tag is just going to keep going up and up.
Fair enough.
So – I don't know if that's more likely. It's probably less likely. His price tag is going to go up, so it'll be less likely.
It's fair enough. Whatever we need to do to get him, that's our only hope the rest of this Spartan football season.
I know.
And
All
this
right.
Saturday.
Well, I'm glad you got the heat. Someone's got to drag this ship along. And you got to be fans even when they suck. And I'm still a fan of theirs. I don't have that fire that you got right now, and I'm happy that you do.
I'm going to my niece's birthday. Her dad is a diehard Michigan fan. The birthday's at 3:00 on Saturday. The whole family's Michigan fans, and I'm wearing my green and white into there. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be confident because you know what? Damn it. We only have 3 games every year, 1 football and 2 basketball, that you can get up and head-to-head talk shit to the Michigan fucking fan base that absolutely despise. I just hate that university, hate everything about it. Don't you remember the tunnel incident? They tried charging these kids after Michigan skipped in front of us, disrespected us on the field. They tried charging the kids. I mean, Frank, you don't have any of the fire in you. Come on. I can see it in you. I see a little glimmer there.
I am dying to move on to over-under. Like, dying to get off this topic and go to over-under.
Go ahead. We'll find that fire midweek.
Yeah, let's go midweek. It's not I was doing Lions and Wings today. All right. We got over-unders. Close out our Sunday show. LGRW from Jerry. He says the Hornies are 13-2 with playoffs next week. More info as requested about the game we lost. 3-1 battle without our second-best player who is suspended for the rest of the season because his idiot dad let him play in a men's league tournament over Labor Day. Holy shit, Jerry, did you want me to read that out loud? I don't know if you... They don't listen, right? Okay. I mean, you wrote it, so I read it.
I don't think anyone from Kirtland, Ohio is listening to our show.
Well, if they know Jerry's sending the over-unders, they might. That's hilarious. Okay, yeah, so they're missing their second-best player due to dad. Okay, over-under. Channy, you're leading it off. Number 1, Yo Mama jokes.
Yo Mama jokes. So Yo Mama was that Wilmer Valderrama back in the day? He hosted that show on MTV. Was that Yo Mama?
I don't know. I don't remember that show. No.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking, Yo Mama, reality TV show. But nonetheless, Yo Mama jokes are overrated. Those were good in elementary school, maybe junior high, but Yo Mama jokes are played out. There's only so many things you can say about your mama. And guess what? Don't talk about my mama, and I won't talk about yours. Overrated.
Okay, I'm gonna say underrated. Top playground joke growing up, great childhood thing to do, and who doesn't love every once in a while pulling out a nostalgic Your Mama joke? They don't even have to be about your mom. It's just kind of the tee up into teeing up an insult. Classic, timeless, they don't ever get old. Yo Mama jokes, underrated. Don't hear enough of them these days. Need to have more of them. Yep. Number 2, I'm up. Halloween costume parties. Halloween costume parties are underrated. I enjoy Halloween costume parties. Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year. Michigan State Halloween was the best time of my life. The dressing up and to be able to dress up and act like an idiot and have some drinks with your friends is always a good time. And when there's themed, I like seeing people get into it. It's fun to let loose and be into something and not be too cool for it. I like Halloween costume parties. I'm saying underrated.
I agree, and I'm in lockstep with you, Frank. Underrated. The stiffs. I'm too old. What am I going to be? Isn't that what you do when you're a kid? No, don't grow the fuck up. You have 2 or 3 days a year where you're allowed to dress up. Renaissance Festival, Halloween, and maybe, I don't know, some other crazy day. But nonetheless, don't grow up. You could be a kid. You could dress up, be creative, have fun, let your hair down. Underrated.
Yeah, 100%. It's just fun. And if you don't want to do it, just don't go. There's always too cool don't want to dress up. Number 3, Darren McCarty. It's on you, Channy.
Darren McCarty. So, I mean, how can you have any other answer other than this? Underrated. I mean, he was the heart and soul with Stevie Y, with Lidstrom, with Shanahan of a lot of those teams. He was a fan favorite through so many years. Always the guy to stand up for some of those guys that didn't want to fight. He was the grit. He was part of so many championship and Stanley Cup winning Detroit Red Wing teams, and he stayed in the area and made it his home. Darren McCarty, underrated.
Yeah, absolutely. You're never going to hear me say a crossword about the legend Darren McCarty. I mean, scored one of the most iconic goals in Red Wings history versus the Flyers, the fight versus Lemieux. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Absolute Red Wings legend, still part of the organization, still loves Detroit, was in a rock band, was just a fucking rock star. Darren McCarty, underrated. What else can you say? Guy lived a dream life. Number 4, on to me, Cedar Point. Cedar Point. I am always in the minority with this opinion. Cedar Point is very overrated. And I guess I can't even really say it's overrated. I've never even been there, but I have no interest in going to Cedar Point whatsoever. I'm a candy ass. I don't like roller coasters. I have no interest in driving down to Ohio and spending my time, my money, my day in middle America riding roller coasters. It's just not for me. I get nauseous. I'll throw up. And I don't find any fun in roller coasters. So to me, Cedar Point, vastly overrated.
Although I do agree with your answer of overrated, I'm shocked to the road that took you there and letting us all know that you've never even been there. I'm not a roller coaster guy. I don't proclaim to be. I always say my line, I don't like to pay to get scared or feel sick. Like, that's not fun to me. So Cedar Point is overrated, albeit I've been there a couple times growing up.
Oh, nice. I went to Six Flags. And to me, that was like, okay, if this is what this is, I'm all set. That was my thought on that. Okay, number 5, to you, Channy. I think I know this answer. Number 5, cooking dinner at home, over or underrated?
Oh, underrated. We love cooking dinner at home. We've done something, me and my wife now. We try to do it at least 3 days a week, lower the expenses, and try new things. If you haven't looked, 30-minute or under meals on Instagram, great place to look, try new dishes, and it's underrated. Cooking with your partner is great. Underrated.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Underrated. When you're able to take the time, get the stuff you want, make a good meal at home, it's awesome. You feel better after. It's a pain in the ass. There's a lot of times I don't feel like cooking. It's a lot easier just to order out and all of that. But when you actually can do it, you have the time, you enjoy doing it, and you make something you like, you normally feel better too. So, yeah, I'll say cooking dinner at home is underrated for sure. Well, that was it. That was our list. And that was our show. So, to all of you listening out there, thank you very much for listening to episode 123 of The Fizz. We are doing this twice a week now. So, you can catch us usually on Monday and then midweek Thursday most of the time. Sometimes it changes based on our schedules, but we're 2 times a week now. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, please rate this 5 stars, write a review, send it to somebody, talk about it, post about it, all of that stuff. But hey, we appreciate each and every one of you. Teams are starting to win. Hockey's back officially. The Lions are leading the NFC. This is going to get fun. Pistons are right around the corner. Fuck, rivalry week, as Channy just fucking got all the Sparties fired up. Stick with us. Tell your friends. And we appreciate you guys. And we will see you later this week.
5-1, everybody. Let's keep it rolling. We'll see you midweek.
Believe in it. See ya.